And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to another week, another edition of the Sparkling Tuna Cup number 69. Nice. we made it. We made it to the 69th edition. I'm, of course, Live VIP. With me, I'm joined by these amazing players, the people in the chat, and by my plushies as well. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to our first match of the night. If you're in the chat, read the bracket. The bracket is live. Exclamation mark be in the chat. If you guys want to have a look at the bracket yourselves. Likewise, predictions will soon be open as spawning in the top left-hand corner of Oceanborn, we have the South Korean Protoss player, the Blue Protoss. It is ReBellioN. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, debuting here for the first time. I was unfamiliar with him. It is the Finnish Protoss player, the Red Protoss, CostPhoenix. And if you're in the chat, predictions, Pappy, predictions are now open. Place your bets on who you think will take the series. Best of luck in the chat, as we are still in the early rounds. We are here in the round of 32. Shout out to all those that did sign up today, though. I believe... Do we have the largest Sparkling Tuna Cup we've ever had? We rarely have a round of 32, and it was very stacked as well, so we'll have to look into it. I'm sure Kuro will have an answer as to our largest STC in the past, but a lot of signups this week, a lot of interest. We have a lot of returning tunas as well, not just your typical competitors like Christiana, like Art, like Iba, but we have the return of Björn and the return of Nightmare. We mentioned it for the past 2 weeks. A lot of the top Korean players were missing, so Björn, Nightmare, Trap, and Shin, they were absent for the past 2 weeks or so, around 2 weeks. They have been less active, at least in this tournament series, but at least Björn and Nightmare have returned. And the question becomes, can they be stopped? Can they be stumped? Can they be denied that finals face-off, as they are the number 1, number 2 seed of the tournament? We still have some big names, though, don't get me wrong. We still have Christiana. We have Trigger as well, the Canadian Protoss player, who is also, I believe, even a reigning STC champion. Trigger, he has been looking very strong as of late, currently living in Korea, of course. Trigger has been there for a couple of months at this point. There's a lot to go over, and we'll go over all the matches as well after this series, after this first best of 3. Until then, we're settling in to our PvP, and already a wild start. Very interesting Sim City here out of CostPhoenix. I mean, I understand the logic here somewhat, not really. There's like a small gap towards the left-hand side where units can go past, so very vulnerable to adept harass, as the right-hand side is completely wide open. This feels almost Estrella-esque. I know that Estrella, he actually very often in PvP doesn't wall off at the ramp. Estrella, he walls off here at the gas geyser instead. It's kind of crazy, at least how Estrella sometimes approaches this matchup. So we'll see if ReBellioN can punish this. As to be expected, double adept opener. Again, SimCity is messy, to say the least. You can see that we're trying to wall off here with a third gateway. A pylon is... we're getting there. We're slowly getting that wall off going, but again, quite messy here, and ReBellioN is going to shade in. It's just going to shade in and pass the units into the mineral line. Probe's going to be going down to adepts. They can one-shot units here, and this is where you get punished. This is where you learn that in PvP, walling up and walling off is imperative here. It is almost a bit of a skill check here in this matchup. 4 probes go down to 1 adept. Already a brutal start for CostPhoenix. And behind this ReBellioN, he's not stopping. He's not stopping. He's not slowing down. He's going for an Oracle follow-up. So it's going to be adept harass alongside Oracles. And it's going to be on CostPhoenix to survive and to defend. On top of that, CostPhoenix is staying on one base. ReBellioN expands. CostPhoenix, he threw down a third gateway. A third gateway, in my mind, would insinuate a 1 base all-in. Would insinuate, okay, maybe we're going to throw down a Robo, get a Prism, get a Twilight Council, and just go all or nothing. But alas, before we can get there, we have to deal with the harassment, as another probe does fall. The Oracle is on the way. Now, thankfully, there are plenty of units to shut down the Oracle. That is true. There's the Robo. Again, this should be a 1 base all-in, but we're getting there in a bit of an inefficient manner. Again, it has been a bit of a shaky start for CostPhoenix, and ReBellioN has been taking full advantage of it, as the Oracle has arrived, diving into the main. Again, Stalkers do not have Blink, so it takes a while for them to respond. It's going to be another 3-4 probe kills. The Oracle will get away. Get some Revelation off as well to keep an eye on the main army. And back at home, all ReBellioN has to do is survive. That's why we even have a second shield battery. Again, ReBellioN, he knows how far ahead he is. He knows that the only thing that can kill him isn't all in, they can catch him with his pants down. But ReBellioN, he's tightening his belt, Bappy. The pants, they're not going to be caught down. We have 2 shield batteries. We have soon to be an overcharge as well. We could even go for a second pylon just in case to keep everything powered. And as long as ReBellioN maintains the Stalker production, as long as, I mean, he can even go for an Immortal behind this as well, or a Warp Prism. Either one, I mean, both are going to be quite viable in this kind of game state. ReBellioN just has to hold on 2 bases. Assuming that CostPhoenix even moves out. As we can see here, CostPhoenix is still stuck in his main, is going for the Observer first, followed by an Immortal, again, furthering the idea that this should be an all-in, but the supply block is going to slow CostPhoenix down, and ReBellioN, he's looking quite solid back at home, quite powerful. Here we go. As the Immortal is on the way, 3rd gateway as well. So again, ReBellioN just being secure. He could have gone for a Warp Prism to harass across the map, but he's going for the Immortal initially to make sure he has a robust army to defend. There's the second pylon, so 2 pylons, 2 shield batteries, hallucinations moving out. ReBellioN, I'm sure, checking for any kind of crazy ninja base play, making sure that there's nothing else going on. Twilight Council now in production. But at a certain point, once ReBellioN feels comfortable enough, he can move out. He can move out, he can apply pressure, he can just contain CostPhoenix on 1 base. And he'll always have a recall to race back home if need be. Again, once he's feeling comfortable. For now, he's still just, you know, fortifying himself. Shield battery has been placed. CostPhoenix does get across the map with his Observer. He does confirm there is no 3rd at least, but we'll get eyes on all the other tech. The Robo, the Stargate, the Forge. We'll get eyes on the expansion. And this should be the sign. This should be the tell here for CostPhoenix to move out. Because macroing from here, it's going to be so difficult. The Oracle does fall. Okay, nice pickup. Now CostPhoenix can focus on his push. We'll bring in 3 Stalkers at a time. The only thing that we're really missing here is a Warp Prism to reinforce across the map, to actually make use of these gateways. And as CostPhoenix moves out, I mean, there's a revelation. There's a revelation on the army. ReBellioN is fully aware. Shield batteries on the way. ReBellioN is getting ready for the push. Meanwhile, shout out to the tuna. It's beautiful. Big shout out. As CostPhoenix does move out across the map. Back at home, 2nd shield battery at the 3rd base. 2nd pylon as well. Again, ReBellioN playing very safe here. Playing very safe, very secure. Here we go. The Prism has arrived, joining with the main army to reinforce. But in a head-on fight at this point, it's a little bit too late. At this point, the shield batteries are ready, the overcharge is ready. Outside of ReBellioN making a massive mistake here in the fight, he should be okay. Should be able to hold on. CostPhoenix does force his way in. He does target down the 1st sentry. Ooh, but pushing into a concave like that, it's not going to work out well here for the aggressing player. As now we're up to 3 Immortals. 3 Immortals plus 1. Blink is finishing up as well. ReBellioN, he dives on forward, takes down the Prism, and yeah, he's just picking this army apart. Overcharge gets popped just to make sure nothing goes down. I believe 1 sentry got picked off. And ReBellioN, yeah, he feels confident enough, he dives on in, blinks on forward, GG gets called, and ReBellioN will take game number 1. GG. Again, ReBellioN is coming in as the heavy favorite. And CostPhoenix is making his debut here on the channel. Again, we haven't had the luxury of having CostPhoenix on before, but I do appreciate here that even some more amateur players are willing to take part. Again, we do always champion that whenever we see some more amateur players signing up to play against some of these big GMs, some big pro players. I remember back in the day always playing against Innovation and Ryung back in a Lima League. It's always a lot of good fun. I'll always remember, yo, I made a base trade. I forced a base trade against Keen. I'll always remember. Always remember. But yeah, it was just a shaky start for CostPhoenix. Again, just a really odd opener as well, opening up 3 gates, having a lack of SimCity as well, and in a mirror matchup, punishing that sort of thing, as we saw, can be quite brutal. and be quite difficult to bounce back as well. Just because you have the same tools and same units as your opponent, there are some comeback mechanics when you fall behind in PvP, that is true. Units like Adept Harass or DTs or proxies, right? Like there are some ways to try to be a little bit more fluid and try to head towards an all-in. There are some ways to go about that, but alas, unfortunately, none of them quite available there for CostPhoenix. Now we're getting into game number 2. Let's go. Getting ready for that second game. I see Chase in the chat. I killed 2 of Keen's first 6 Hellions. Handing out autographs. Let's go! Let us go. Who was it? Chase, Pappy. Pappy, what did you do? You cheesed the hell out of Probe. That's what you did. Cue the Chase clip here, where he proxy hatchery Probe in his main. Crazy, crazy. Este Chase. Also, you don't count because you're actually GM. So, shaking my head. Good to see you, Chase. Though. Good to see you. But here we go, we're getting into game 2, and spawning in the top left-hand corner of Golden Aura, we have our South Korean Protoss player, usually Protoss, did end up switching here to Terran, and we'll see how that turns out. It is going to be ReBellioN. And in the bottom right-hand corner, we have the Finnish Protoss player, the Red Protoss, representing himself, currently teamless, I believe. It is CostPhoenix. Go. As we do have CostPhoenix opening up with the low ground Warlock. Once again, an interesting choice here. So typically, not always, but typically we would be setting up in the main to wall off the Reaper Cliff to try and deny scouting and try and deny vision from the Terran player. Low ground wall off is a bold move. I mean, we'll see if ReBellioN even does open up Reaper. I'm unfamiliar with the skill level of ReBellion's Terran. Those that are curious, his Protoss, of course, he is a semi-pro. He's a semi-pro player. He's a Code A Korean GM that has been competing for many, many years at this point. I remember casting Gyelzing, or I should say watching Gyelzing back in, 2016, 2017, maybe even before that, back in the Elima League days, as ReBellioN did name change during the COVID era of StarCraft. But as Terran, I'm less so familiar. Not true, AI generated. It was a macro game. Chase, I can't remember the last macro game that I've seen you play. Este Chase. SMH. As CostPhoenix is going to be settling in, going for a 2-gate opener. Ooh, meanwhile, ReBellioN going for the initial bunker here at the pylon. Now, the goal here for ReBellioN, I imagine, is to rally the Reapers across the map and to try to focus down that one pylon, try to take advantage here of the production. As I say that, though, it was a 2-gate opener, so because we don't have an expansion, because of that second gateway, CostPhoenix is going to have quite an abundance of units early on to defend. I feel like CostPhoenix, he can be okay. We'll see. I would love to see a shield battery behind this. So far, no shield battery. Bunker does finish up. Reapers on the way. And we'll see if ReBellioN can keep that SCV alive. The goal here would be to juggle the SCV to keep it in the bunker and to avoid those ZF shots. Speaking of, does avoid the shots. Gets a bit of repairs off here, once again avoiding the Zealot as well. Yeah, Zealot does go down, but now there's a second Adept, and the SCV should soon be falling. Yeah, there we go. Does force a salvage. SCV goes down, and CostPhoenix will defend. As I say that, the Reaper does get into the main base and will get a probe kill. One probe goes down. ReBellioN forced out. Is going to be forced out of the main. And we have a CostPhoenix behind this. Going to be expanding, getting his natural. Meanwhile, ReBellioN likewise got his CC on the high ground, getting to his own 2-1-1 setup that is a rack speed for starport, fast +1. Ooh, so this is going to be a pretty brutal stim timing here for ReBellioN. Ideally, he lines everything up with +1, with stim. with his bio army. Even going for a third rank, so we might even just pull the boys with this. We might even just skip the starport. Regardless, very aggressive 2-base play out of ReBellioN. This is almost very Honmono-esque. And it's going to be on CostPhoenix to read this and to survive. Meanwhile, first Reaper goes first attack goes down. Probe even. Second probe as well. So 2 probe kills, a full scout of the main base. Now ReBellioN is fully aware of the tech of choice. It is going to be a Stargate opener out of CostPhoenix. Does get across the map and will get an SCV. Up! I think it's one. One SCV goes down. Alas, CostPhoenix, his expansion's quite late here because of the fast second gateway, so is going to be falling behind in the economy. Likewise, opening up not Phoenix but Oracle. Very interesting. You don't often see Oracle openers in this matchup. They do have their place and they can get some damage done, don't get me wrong. They can of course threaten the main, but remember ReBellioN, he's already scattered the Stargate and he's getting ready. Missile turrets are on the way. Cyclones are amassing. I'm sure ReBellioN, he's getting ready to defend against Phoenixes. We know it's not. It's going to be Oracles instead. Regardless, ReBellioN is getting prepared. And what I'm concerned by here is that this kind of bioaggression, this 3-1-1 setup here, this stim timing that's coming for ReBellioN, it hits so hard and it can just snowball out of control against a Stargate opener. The reason for this, because of the Stargate, is, I mean, Phoenixes and Oracles, they don't really help much here. There's no Blink Stalkers to kite against the bio to slow it down. There's no Robo, there's no Bay, there's no Colossus, there's no splash damage. Like, this bio timing, I mean, it's almost designed to punish something like a Stargate opener. It's gonna hit quite hard. And I'll be very impressed here if CostPhoenix can survive it. As even pro players in this kind of situation would have a hard time against this push. And here we go. Stim is finishing up in 5 seconds. ReBellioN is pushing. He's getting a third CC behind this. He did wait until he got a medevac at least, so there is, you know, a little bit of support with the army. And again, if these Stalkers had Blink, then I could believe. Even so, though, that is a lot of Stalkers. There's going to be a shield battery. There's going to be an overcharge as well. Oracle checks the naturals, sorts the turrets, gets the hell out of there. ReBellioN pushing forward. How many Marauders? He's got 2 Marauders, 2 Widowmines as well. He does them in. And Stalkers are going down. There's the overcharge. 3 Stalkers do fall. ReBellioN has to respect the overcharge. Does back up. The problem here, though, is that CostPhoenix can't really push out, so he has to fight within range of the shield battery. So he is contained on 2 bases. And ReBellioN, he does respect the army, doesn't commit. Stays back for now. Oracles, they delay some of the production. Third TC's on the way. And all ReBellioN has to do is contain. That's all he really has to do here, is just contain CostPhoenix. Oh, catches the Oracle. And macro from here. And just wait for CostPhoenix to move out on the map. Speaking of, he's now upgrading, he's now working towards Blink, +1. Again, all of this has been heavily delayed because of the Stargate, because of the Oracle. And the Oracles, they haven't really paid for themselves. Especially considering that CostPhoenix invested into a second Oracle. Ay. I mean, the Oracle does get the Revelation and did at least force out these turrets, true, but that's all it's really been able to do. Now, once Blink finishes, then CostPhoenix can be more active, but by that point, the Marauder count is getting higher. We're up to, what, 4 or 5 Marauders now. More Marauders on the way. Turret is done. Takes down the Oracle. And with a heavier Immortal count, ReBellioN, he could actually try to break this natural. But now he's checking for the third. Now he stims in. Stims in for a second time. Catches two Stalkers, going for the Cybercore. Cybercore goes down. Ooh, Mine Shot's going off, and don't blink in. ReBellion's not going to give him that chance. Takes down the pylon, depowers the shield batteries. Now he can just stim in. He can stim, he can win. As the Marauders, they just go to town on the Stalkers. Widowmines, they can unburrow, they can go for the mineral line. Instead, they're being held back. Boys are being pulled into the mine shots as well. Yeah, Yeah, just a solid setup here from ReBellioN. And behind this, getting a 4cc, building up, and just securing himself. 2-2 is on the way. Meanwhile, CostPhoenix stuck in his main. Blink is going to finish up after his natural has already been cleaned up. Again, it was just a rough start here. And ReBellioN just taking full advantage. GG gets called, and ReBellioN will take the 2-0. GG. GG. ReBellioN will be advancing on to the next round, but a shout out to CostPhoenix for competing here tonight, for taking part, and for going up against ReBellioN of all players. GG, well played. Again, it's not easy going up against some of these big Korean pros, or even semi-pros as well. So much love to CostPhoenix. Again, a Finnish Protoss player, does go down here in the first round, but the first round is typically the most brutal. The first round is where basically all the amateur players get split up and they all get sent up against some of these bigger pros like Lunacy, ReBellioN. I saw Gref earlier as well, Hackers Top, Azura. So the first round, it can be brutal. But regardless, thank you so much. Thank you so much for competing. Thank you so much for taking part. We do appreciate it. GG, well played. And of course, ReBellioN will advance on, and he's up against his next opponent. He's going to be up against Eva in the second round. Let's go. Let us go. And we can head on over here and have a look at the bracket itself. I mean, I just kind of spoiled it a little bit. But yes, Eva, the Zerg player from the UK, has been patiently waiting for his next opponent. And here we go.